Hello guys, and welcome to another Hanging Up with the International False Rape Timeline. I'm calling this instalment claim farming, a phrase I'd never heard before in my 68 years, until the other week when it was mentioned by Bettina Arndt, an amazing woman. I'll be covering some historical allegations and bandwagoning, which is thematic with it, because what happens is a celebrity or perhaps a teacher is accused, police go trawling for victims, or the media attracts cranks and whatever, and the poor sap ends up being accused by all manner of allegations dating back years or decades, and the dishonest nature of many prosecutions in this field often results in convictions. Right, I'm reading here from the website of Brooke Winter Solicitors. This is an Australian firm. What is claim farming? Claim farming is an unethical practice where third parties, known as claim farmers, solicit individuals to file compensation claims, often without their consent. This practice typically involves 1. Unsolicited contact. Claim farmers cold call, email or approach potential claimants directly, pressuring them to make compensation claims. 2. Exploitation of vulnerable individuals. They often target vulnerable groups such as survivors of child abuse, former young offenders, or those involved in motor vehicle accidents. 3. Again, for regular viewers, please ignore the clicking desk, and for new viewers. 3. Deceptive tactics. Claim farmers may use misleading methods such as implying they represent government agencies or insurers to gain trust. 4. Selling personal information. After obtaining an individual's details, claim farmers sell this information to law firms or claims management service providers. 5. Financial incentives. Claim farmers typically receive a fee for each referral, which can be up to $2,200 per claim. And there's a lot more here, including the Claim Farming Practices Prohibition Bill 2025. So this is where a lot of these historical allegations come from. And in this connection, I want to play you a short video from the United States.
The Chicago Archdiocese has filed a lawsuit over an alleged conspiracy to rip off the church with bogus claims of sex abuse.
The church's suit argues a group of at least 30 people made false claims against defrocked priest Daniel McCormack to score legal settlements. WGN's Dana Rebick live in the Gold Coast with details on that. Dana.
Well, attorneys for the Archdiocese of Chicago say they believe this was a scheme that was going on for years. After a subpoena gave them access to recorded jailhouse phone calls, they say these fake victims coached each other to lie and then bragged about spending large amounts of settlement money on lavish cars, parties, and trips.
We understand realistically that some of this money might not be around anymore. So that while it would be nice to recoup some of the losses, the main purpose here is to stop the scheme.
The Archdiocese of Chicago filing a lawsuit in Cook County Circuit Court. The counterclaim alleges a group of more than 24 West Side residents, many tied to a violent street gang, conspired to bring false allegations of sexual abuse against convicted pedophile and former priest Daniel McCormack, winning millions of dollars in settlements.
This is a scheme to defraud the Archdiocese based on the suffering of others.
McCormack served at St. Agatha Catholic Church in North Lawndale in the 90s and early 2000s and was also a teacher and basketball coach. He pled guilty to sexually abusing 5 boys, though it's estimated his total number of victims is closer to 30.
I saw kids who were abused graphically and horrifically, repeatedly, at young ages.
According to court documents in this new case brought by the church, defendants named as John Does were caught conspiring on recorded prison and jail phone calls. In one case, someone saying, "I've got to get on the money train," referencing cars a cousin had bought with settlement money. Another man, when talking about St. Agatha's, saying, "I didn't go there. I wasn't even in a program and I got a lick on him," bragging about making himself cry about abuse that never took place.
That was part of a video uploaded to YouTube to the WGN News channel, which has 623,000 subscribers. It was uploaded on March the 25th and had been viewed only 584 times by April the 10th. So, as usual, the truth isn't as popular as the untruth. There have been quite a lot of these over the years. They're not. They don't get a lot of publicity. The worst one, I think, is on the timeline. I'll put a link to it. It's Leigh Day and the false allegations in Kenya, going back decades, literally decades, which the Ministry of Defence, they weren't satisfied with these false allegations, the number of allegations, so they sent a team out there and they found all sorts of fraud. I'll put a link to that. So, I mean, this goes hand in hand with bandwagoning and trawling. In this case, there was one just mentioned. There was a genuine paedophile priest, but even paedophiles can be innocent. They're easy targets basically for money. It isn't always money. Sometimes it's women who are not right in the head, and in this case, mostly men who are not right in the head. Well, I think this is more just greed, this one, but there have been lots of cases of men who've made false allegations against priests and teachers, not necessarily sexual allegations. So that's that. Right, sweet Virginia. Last month, the odious Virginia Giuffre, the former Virginia Roberts, posted this photograph, claiming she had only 4 days to live. She was said to have been involved in a car smash with a school bus. I must admit, I was taken in by it. I didn't believe. I mean, she said she had kidney damage. I didn't necessarily think she had 4 days to live. I mean, that's rather a specific prediction. But I took on face value that she had kidney damage, and that maybe the doctor had said, for whatever reason, we can't dialysis or whatever. But others have pointed out this photograph is no, I was just, and she's still alive now, and it appears she was involved in some sort of domestic dispute. That let's say it's make up her eye, the bruising. Totally insane thing to do, but it does cast further doubt on her veracity about claims she made against Prince Andrew. Let me say again, I'm sorry, I made a video about this. I called it "Goodbye, Sweet Virginia." The wonderful lady Victoria Harvey was she went one better. She posted something to with the final countdown, a song by Europe, a band called Europe, which You might have heard. I thought it was hilarious. She was taken to task for that, but was she wrong? No, I don't necessarily. But I mean, one more time, I do not for one moment dispute the veracity of Lady Victoria Harvey. I believe she may have been left up the golden path. But that infamous photograph of Sweet Virginia and Prince Andrew, here it is yet again. That may not be genuine. I assume it is, but again, was it proved? Now, one more time. In February 2011, this self-confessed child sex trafficker and prostitute, 17-year-old prostitute, well, she claimed when she was 17 that she had had sex. This was in February 2011. The photograph was published by the Mail on Sunday, but other sources. She gave an extensive interview to the Mail on Sunday by a hack named Sharon Churcher. She denied having sex. There was no suggestion she had sex with Prince Andrew, and she wanted the photograph to send to her mom. Years later, she was sexually abused by Andrew. She also claimed to have been sexually abused by Alan Dershowitz, and there was litigation between the two. Dershowitz said she was lying and he wanted to see her in prison. Then when it came to the discovery stage, discovery, she realised that it's one thing to make allegations, it's another to prove them. There was not a single document that showed that she never met Dershowitz, and I've no doubt she never did meet him. And she withdrew, saying she thought she was mistaken. Dershowitz was extremely magnanimous. Now, Lady Victoria believes that there was some great conspiracy to frame Andrew to get the Clintons off the hook. Did Bill Clinton have sex with her? I don't believe half the things about Bill Clinton. I mean, women threw themselves at him when he was younger. That sordid business with Monica Lewinsky. I mean, to exploit a poor girl like that is yuck. But anyway, lots of people have jumped on the bandwagon here. There have been many anonymous women have brought actions, Jane Doe's. I really do think that this whole Epstein thing is. I really don't think there's anything to it. You know, I don't think there were mass rapes or anything like that. What he was doing was paying slightly underage girls to give him sexual massages in Florida. And it's been about trafficking. I mean, trafficking is a narrative. Prostitution is illegal in America. Well, it's illegal in Britain. Well, there's nuance there, but prostitution itself isn't illegal in Britain. It's illegal everywhere in America except. Excuse me. It's just after 2 a.m. We get nearly 3 a.m. as usual. Except certain areas. I think 6 or 7 counties of Las Vegas, something like that. And both prostitutes and their so-called Johns can be given quite harsh sentences for what are victimless crimes. But I really don't believe that there's any. I mean, Sweet Virginia's her word was regarded so. She was so unreliable that the Ghislaine Maxwell prosecution. She wasn't a witness. She should have been a co-defendant, but she wasn't a witness. There's been great reluctance of the authorities to release the names of the people who flew on so-called Lolita Express. But I mean, Dan Bongino said that one or two of his former Secret Service comrades saw something dodgy going on there. But I don't think there's any child rape or anything like that. I think the whole thing is just smoke and mirrors, and the authorities kept it secret they kept them under wraps to protect the innocent for most people's names become associated with. Epstein visited Mar-a-Lago at least once, maybe a few times, and they tried tying Trump with a brush, with that same brush, just because he knew him. I don't believe Epstein was any sort of. This is all my opinion, by the way. This is not documented fact, but I don't believe he was a Mossad agent. I don't believe any sort of agent. As for his wealth being unexplained, I think he was probably just ripped off or whatever some incredibly wealthy but gullible people. He did manage funds. He did manage funds, so that I think he wouldn't be the first one to do it. I mean, there was like the big one was that guy who died recently. His name, I can't remember his name. He was a Jew anyway. Same with Epstein. Let me look it up. Madoff, Bernie Madoff, actually died in 2021, age 82. For some reason, these people are able to accumulate vast sums of money doing what? So I really think the whole Epstein thing is smoke and mirrors, but lots of people lawyers have made a lot of money out of it. He's left Epstein left a considerable estate, and if ever claim farming was a thing, that was it. That's it. It's ongoing now. So it'd be interesting to see how that turns out. Right, let's have a look at Russell Brand. I actually made a video about Brand in 2023. I'll put a link to that below. This is the BBC website, April 4th. Russell Brand has been charged with rape, indecent assault and sexual assault between 1999 and 2005. The charges relate to 4 separate women. Brand has been interviewed multiple times by police since an investigation by the Sunday Times, the Times and Channel 4's dispatches in September 2023 revealed multiple serious allegations against him. I mean, in 1999, a woman was raped in the Bournemouth area. 2001, a woman was indecently assaulted in the Westminster area. 2004, a woman was already raped and sexually assaulted in the Westminster area. Between 2004 and 2005, a woman was sexually assaulted in the Westminster area of London. He's been accused in the United States as well. There's actually a woman, I covered this in the video, a woman attended a rape crisis centre. I think the most likely thing that happened there is she went there to get a free treatment in case he had a sexual disease, sexually transmitted disease, and then she convinced herself he'd raped her. But I don't know. I mean, Brandy's married now. Well, he was married before. He was married to Katy Perry, and they divorced. It was lots of show business marriages in divorce because of the peripatetic nature of the business. People could be working in different areas of the country or different countries, but she never said anything unpleasant about him. I think he certainly never said anything unpleasant about her. he was once Shagger of the Year, and I remember saying at the time, I think it was the Cosby or the Rolf Harris allegations that he should be a bit careful. He was a complete creep when he was younger. There was that horrible case in where hearing that lowlife Jonathan Ross found the actor Andrew Sachs, so comedy actor. They found he was the grandfather of an actress, Georgina Baillie, and they phoned him and said, basically, I fucked your granddaughter. I mean, just horrible behaviour. He claims to have found Jesus now. He certainly had a transformation well before this rubbish came to light. In the United States, he was charged by, they sent him a letter. He's going to appear at in Westminster, a London court in next month. I know exactly what will happen at the trial. This will be the prosecution case. This powerful man abused all these women, none of whom know each other. So unless this is a conspiracy, ho ho ho, he's guilty. They use this crap every time. Again, I'll put a link to my video, how the police convict people of imaginary crimes, using the case of a case of a woman who was caught falsely accusing a police officer in Palm Beach, Florida. I'll put a link to that. Do I think Brand will be convicted? I don't know. He needs good representation though. He needs a private investigator, and he needs a very good barrister, maybe Stephen Vallow KC, who knows how to deal with these things. Do I believe he's guilty? I don't. I mean, no. In that video I made before, I put in a clip from Tonya, her name is, Tonya Buxton or something like that, who said that she met Brand, and it was some sort of event, and he was absolutely obnoxious, really obnoxious, and women were literally chucking themselves at him. Now they regret what they've done. Right, let's have a look at Mr. Combs. Sean Combs is an actor. Is he an actor? Well, he's certainly probably done some acting, but he's a singer-songwriter, if you like that sort of thing. Big music star in the United States. And for several months he's been languishing in a New York prison. And the allegations against him have mushroomed. All sorts of claims have been made about him and his entourage. I'll play a clip from, this is from the Law and Crime Network channel.
After months of refusing to disclose the identity of alleged victims and just 60 days before trial, the government suddenly announced that it intended to shore up its case with evidence of redacted, uncharged, and uncorroborated crimes, including redacted, again, it's all blacked out, purported instances of sexual assault, all but one of which supposedly occurred decades ago. These incendiary allegations are substantially more serious than the charged offenses, and if admitted, would make it impossible for Mr. Combs to receive a fair trial. Wow.
And here is a continuation of that clip.
For example, the indictment does not allege redacted. Instead, the charges focus on allegations about domestic abuse or supposed economic coercion of longtime girlfriends. That is the case Mr. Combs has been defending for months. Yet now, on the eve of trial and after 2 superseding indictments, the government has surfaced a new plan to taint his trial with evidence about purported heinous acts redacted, including an allegation that redacted. These are entirely new, untested, uncorroborated, and uninvestigated allegations. All but one of the alleged incidents happened over 20 years ago, with the oldest dating to the 1980s. Some of the allegations are demonstrably false, but would nonetheless require an enormous amount of trial time to disprove. Some are truly unknown to the defense, and the government's disclosure has been utterly threadbare so far. The allegations implicate dozens of unidentified witnesses and alleged co-conspirators around the world, and some of the key witnesses to the supposed incidents are dead.
I know that there's a lot of money involved here. There is some suggestion he's trying to bribe people to pay them off. A lot of these allegations, I think, are ridiculous. I mean, there was an allegation made against an associate of his, Sean Carter, who goes by Jay-Z, and that's now been withdrawn. It was obviously false. An anonymous woman, Jane Doe, and a corrupt claim farming lawyer. And I think this guy's probably done something wrong, but in the UK, I think whatever he's done in the UK, he'd end up with maybe a 3 or 4 year sentence, 5 at most. But they're looking in the United States to put him away for the rest of his life. Some of the claims against him, I've said this before, lots of these claims, I have a whiff of fantasy about them. Will he be acquitted? I don't know, but he's certainly got an uphill struggle, and it's no doubt cost him a fortune in lawyers. Anyway, that's the claim farmers. I haven't had anything to the full scope timeline recently. I've been doing other things. I've been busy, and I've been the usual health story. Some of you may know, in June 2020, I had a bad accident that fractured my left wrist, and I also landed on my face. I had 2 X-rays. I can't find anything wrong, but it's really screwed me up. You know, I get tired all the time, well, it's very difficult. But I'll continue for as long as I can. I also want to add some more stuff to the full scope timeline in certainly the next couple of weeks. But anyway, that's claim farmers. You can consider that like an aspect of bandwagoning and historical allegations. It's a lot of this is, I say, it's mostly driven by money, but not all of it always. By corrupt lawyers, and as we've seen from that article I read, people who solicit lawyers for whatever, you know, for these purposes. It's happened a lot in New Zealand, because they had a very generous accident and criminal injuries compensation scheme. It's ACC or something. It's no more, but people were getting big payouts. And New Zealand it's got a small population and a lot of crooks. Anyway, that's the latest Full Scope Timeline Hangout. I will upload this to my Full Scope channel once I've edited it down, and as usual, your comments are welcome.